Welcome to Chai with Molly, a show where we celebrate diversity the Canadian way. I am Molly, and I look so much forward to seeing you every week on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. So thank you for tuning in. And also thank you for sending all those emails and phone calls, letting us know what you think about our show. And it really, really encourages us. We want to hear from you, so keep those emails coming. And also, if you'd like to be a guest on our show or would like to advertise with us, please contact me at 647-979-3220. Starting 2013 January, we will see new changes coming to the skilled workers program, and so we are going to get some more information on it from our expert, Chantal. Desloges. She is a leading immigration lawyer in the city of Toronto. So welcome to our show once again.
Thank you, Molly.
So please tell us about this program.
Yeah, so it's really exciting actually, because they're really turning the system upside down. What's been happening is for the last 6 months or so, the government has actually frozen the skilled worker program and not allowed anybody new to apply except in exceptional circumstances.
Okay.
Getting ready for these new changes which are about to come in. Now what they've done is, you know that under the skilled worker system, it's always been calculating points.
Yes.
You get points for how old you are, how much English you speak, etc. So what they're doing is now they're going to be focusing in on much younger immigrants, with a much higher level of language, either English or French.
Okay.
So it used to be that the cutoff age to start losing points was 49 and 50.
Okay.
Now it's going to be a cutoff of 35.
Okay.
So after the age of 35, you're going to start losing points, which is a huge, huge difference.
Big difference.
Also, the level of English language that's required is going to be, they're setting a minimum, and the minimum is actually rather high.
Okay.
So the interesting thing that I think about it is you're going to see the demographics of immigration will start to change.
How is it going to change?
Well, there'll be a lot more younger people coming in.
Okay.
So, you know, you're going to get a lot of people in their early 30s as opposed to before it would be people like, you know, kind of late 40s. Now, the other thing is that under the old program, if you had enough points in other categories, maybe you didn't speak English, but you had other skills. Now that's no longer going to be possible. So I think you're going to see a definite boost in immigration from English and French-speaking countries.
I see.
So I think you're going to see places like China go down a little bit. Other countries in the world where English isn't spoken as much.
Okay.
You might see a relative boost from, you know, Commonwealth countries, for example.
Okay. Very good, but that can't be bad, because if you are able to speak language of Canada, one of the two languages of Canada, then that can only be good for you.
Yeah, well, the policy behind it is interesting. There's some controversy about it because the government says that every single study that they've ever done proves that the people who do better in Canada are people who came here younger and had higher levels of English or French.
I see.
And this is independent studies that have been done repeatedly, and they always show the same thing. So they're saying that this is better not only for Canada, it's also better for the immigrants, because you get people coming with PhD and they're driving a taxi.
Right.
Nobody likes that.
Right.
But then you have other people in the population that are saying, well, look, if we're focusing so much on English, you're going to exclude a lot of people in the world. There are some people even saying that it's racist, which I disagree with. I think it's not racist to expect people who are coming here to speak one of our languages.
Yes,
you know.
And because people who want to come to Canada, they know that the official language is either English or French.
Right.
So,
and I mean, if I were going to be moving to Mexico, for example, I wouldn't expect that my level of Spanish would be an irrelevant factor. Of course, you know, if you want to succeed somewhere, you have to speak the language.
Yeah, because you have to live here and you have to get jobs and you have to go conduct a business. And if you're not able to communicate in the language that majority of the people speak in, then there could be issues.
Yeah.
Right?
The other thing about targeting younger people is that not only are they usually more adaptable because they're at the beginning of their career, they're not so much stuck in one area, also they're going to be having children.
Yes.
So that will help because we do need a population boost.
Yes.
It's better for us to have people who realistically may have a couple of children after they get here.
Yes. So that's wonderful. Now, what are some of the categories in terms of skills What kind of occupations are we looking for?
Well, they haven't said yet whether there is going to be an occupation demand list. So far, it doesn't look like there will be. And that actually makes sense, because by the time you cut out all the people over 35 and all the people who don't speak English or French, you can only cut it down so much before you won't have anybody applying.
Right.
But there is going to be a new skilled tradesperson category, which is something totally new. It's never been done before. They're targeting people, plumbers, electricians, that sort of thing. And they're going to put them, instead of on a point system, it's going to be a pass-fail system, which will be easier for them to qualify.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so there's certain occupations that are listed under the skilled tradesperson category. And I can't remember how many there are exactly, but it'd be what you would expect. Electricians, plumbers, carpenters, that sort of thing.
Skilled workers.
Skilled workers, so which we need for our construction industry.
Yes.
And they're gonna have to show a certain amount of experience within the past few years.
Okay.
They're gonna have to show that they either have the licensing in Canada or they have a job offer, and a certain level of fluency in English or French.
Yeah, but how are they going to get a license if they're not even here?
Well, that's a question. What we think might happen is that the interprovincial licensing authorities might actually start to conduct exams and skills testing outside Canada.
Right, because right now it's not working very well, because even when you're here, they don't recognize some of the degrees.
Exactly.
Of people.
And the other thing that we think might happen is it might end up sort of indirectly favoring people who don't need a visa to come to Canada. For example, if you're a plumber in Ireland, you don't need a visa to come and visit Canada, so you could just fly over and you could do your licensing. Depending on how long the course is, often you don't even need a study permit for that. You could come write the exam and get licensing, whereas somebody from China
who needs a visa,
right, would be disadvantaged in that area.
So how is the government addressing some of these concerns? That is a legitimate concern?
Yeah, well, I don't know if the government is doing anything about that. I think what you will have to, the actual licensing authorities will be the ones that will have to deal with that problem. And then don't forget that if you can't get the licensing, the other way to overcome that difficulty is if you have a job offer.
Okay.
So some of these construction companies will have to start issuing the job offers and then bringing people over rather than waiting for them to get here first.
Yeah, but then they're going to run into these problems called Canadian experience.
Yeah, that's
Which is
true.
what they're looking for every time you apply for a job if you're a new immigrant.
Yeah,
Even as an immigrant, they just said, no, you don't have Canadian experience.
Yeah, I know. One thing that they're also doing in the new skilled worker category, I forgot to mention this, was they're going to have mandatory credential assessment for everyone who applies. So you won't be able to lodge your application unless the Canadian Credential Organization has evaluated your degree.
I see.
And said that it is equivalent to whatever level here in Canada.
Okay.
Which is,
so
again, not been done
Will this
before.
be done by provincially or federally?
Well, the government is it's stopped now, but they were taking tenders for companies who wanted to be authorized to do this credential assessment. Okay. And a number of organizations have applied. We're just waiting to hear who's going to get the license for doing it.
Well, thank you so much. This is all so valuable, and hopefully this is something that is going to help and benefit a lot of our viewers. So if you have any further questions about it or would like to get any additional information, you can definitely contact us and we'll make sure we put you in touch with Chantal. Thank you once again for being here.
Thanks very much.
Good morning and welcome to Chai with Molly. This is Jay Banerjee. We're in the month of December, and people think December is not what's all about. Of course, parties are important and all the get-togethers. Real estate happens in the month of December. The people that are buying for you sellers are the serious buyers. And those that are looking to sell, your home shows better in the month of December and the holidays with all the decorations and everything else. So if you're thinking of selling or buying, give me a call or call a real estate agent that you may be working with, and will be perfect. Getting into the new year, 2013, those of you who are planning to make that purchase, you're also thinking about mortgages. That is a critical part. In Canada, we have some very unique facilities that allow you to buy with 20% down, 10% down, even 5% down. So getting a mortgage is as important as buying your home, and we know that. So today I have with us in the studio Mary, and Mary here is on behalf of CMHC. Thank you for coming. Please tell our viewers, first of all, what is CMHC?
First of all, Jay, thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
CMHC is Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. For the last 60 years or more, we've been Canada's national housing agency.
Okay.
And essentially, our role is to ensure the health of our housing industry, to ensure that it's the best in the world, and to also ensure that Canadians have access to affordable, quality, and sustainable housing.
Well, I must say, as you know, being a realtor myself, for the last 22 years, you've done a good job. I mean, we are a very, compared to the global markets, it has held itself. So the role that you have set to do, obviously you've fulfilled. Let me ask you a question. A large part of the market in Canada, especially in Toronto, are made up of first-time buyers. Let's start with that.
Sure.
What is CMHC doing to really boost that area of our marketplace, shall we say, for new Canadians who are then first-time buyers?
So there's a few different things that I can share with you around first-time buyers, but let's first talk about newcomers.
Okay.
So CMHC has a wealth of resources that are available to home buyers, whether they are new buyers, existing buyers, new to Canada. Specifically for newcomers, we have guides that are written in 8 different languages that are available both on our website, and they can be ordered in a print format. And they help a newcomer to Canada understand the first-time home buying process in their own language. So we offer it in 8 different languages.
I see. Now, I have seen a few of the guides that you had emailed me, and I've reviewed them, and also being in the industry. Here's another question. So you mentioned guides. As for outside of the guides that you have and the resources for people who are buying, because they become interested in who is CMHC, who is RE/MAX, etc., when they're in that buying mode, let's say about a year before that time. So obviously you're giving those tools. What is the function of CMHC? Is it a protection of the consumer and the marketplace and the housing market? Tell me a little bit about that.
So CMHC essentially provides insurance that protects the lender against default.
That's right.
But in doing so, it provides the Canadian with an opportunity to get into homeownership sooner with a smaller down payment and to have interest rates that are comparable with those that homeowners that are coming up with a 20% down payment have. I
see. And you know, the reason why that is so important, because in the 20 years working with new Canadians, there are those that come from different parts of the world, let's say from India, or a large group that come in from the Middle East, for example, right? So home buying becomes a dream and then a reality. Now, in most places in the world, I guess you really can't do that, can you? Buying with that lower down payment.
I don't know what opportunities are available around the world, but I can certainly tell you that here in Canada we have an amazing opportunity for Canadians. You can purchase a property with as little as 5% down. Now, the reality is that home buying is not for everyone. So one of the other things that CMHC does is we provide lots of resources and information to consumers to help them make informed and responsible decisions. And in doing that, we offer home buying step-by-step guides and information on our website, which really takes the consumer through all the various stages. And the first one being, is homeownership right for me?
Mary, thank you for sending me the videos, but tell me a little bit about what they actually are about.
Sure. So we have the 2 videos that are focused on home buying. One is Get House Smart.
Right, Get House Smart, okay.
Yeah, and it's a very educational video speaking to all the aspects of home buying and different things that you need to consider as you take the journey along the path of home ownership.
Okay.
The second actually drops in on a recent buyer, Kate. So it's called Dropping In on Kate. And she, you know, in the comfort of her home, talks about her experience of home buying and some of the things that she anticipated or didn't anticipate and what the process was like. It's a very interactive video as well for consumers, and they can click and learn about the different terminology that's used during the home buying process.
Wow. Well, thank you. We're going to enjoy watching it. So here we go.
We love our new home. It's definitely a big change from living in an apartment. We would not go back there. We're happy. We definitely wanted more room in case we plan on having any more kids, and this place just works for us. It's a great location, close to downtown. It's perfect. This neighborhood has been great to live in so far. The neighbors have been really welcoming, and I think they're happy to have a young family here. We knew we were ready to buy a home when our daughter arrived. But before Peter and I fell in love with anything, we went to our mortgage professional to see what we could afford. We really liked the convenience of our apartment because we didn't have to shovel and there was sort of low maintenance. But when we moved into our home, we started taking pride in our gardens and our yard, and all the things we thought would be kind of a nuisance ended up being things we love. We learned that there are a variety of ways to finance our home. With the help of our mortgage professional, we sat down and crunched numbers, and we were relieved when we figured out that we could actually make this work. There was a lot of financial terminology that we did not understand, but our mortgage professional helped us to piece it all together, and they were really rooting for us. So this is my living room, of course, and it's a perfect size for entertaining, because we've been doing that a lot these days. Come here, honey, let's go upstairs. We'll show them upstairs. We surfed the internet, drove around, saw some really interesting housing developments, but we settled on this one. It's perfect for us. This place really works. There's a huge number of options of homes out there when you start looking, and our real estate agent really helped us sort through it all. And this is the main room of the basement. We hope to turn it into a playroom for Lizzie, but it's full of stuff right now. Yeah, if we don't know where something goes, it goes in the basement pile. We were glad to find a mortgage professional to help us because we were completely overwhelmed at first. We researched our builder and had a really good home inspector, and that was important before we bought the home. Our lawyer was way more involved than I had expected. I thought that they only did the paperwork, but they were really involved and had our interest at heart the whole time. We knew we wanted to put an offer in on this home, so we worked with our realtor to prepare an offer to purchase. And we had a counter offer, we met in the middle, and it was a done deal. We really wanted this house, so it was hard to sit and wait.
We learned pretty quickly that mortgage payments aren't the only cost involved in home ownership.
We've had friends who were completely surprised. They weren't prepared at all. There's
caught off guard with property tax, land transfer tax.
So we decided to put a percentage of our income away every month, and that way we'd be ready if there were any unexpected costs. We're making our mortgage payments bi-weekly instead of monthly because we want to pay off our principal a little bit faster. You too? We see this as a starter home. I mean, Lizzie's made some good friends at the park, and we're happy here.
Mary, thank you for letting me know about those apps, the mobile apps. As you can see, I'm very technology involved and engaged.
Absolutely.
And tell me more, what made CMHC start and bring those apps to the consumer?
That's a great question,
it's right
Jay.
here, yes.
Yes, so we do have a consumer app that CMHC recently launched.
Okay.
And within that application, consumers have easy, convenient access to a whole bunch of home buying resources and tools like various mortgage calculators.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So one of the reasons that we decided to launch these mobile apps is CMHC does a study, and we've been doing it over the last 13 years, called a mortgage consumer survey, where we look we look into the attitudes and behaviors of mortgage consumers. And one of the things that we've found over the past few years, Jay, is that the use of the internet by mortgage consumers is steadily growing.
Okay.
More and more consumers are turning to the internet to get information around arranging a mortgage, and a small but growing segment of mortgage consumers are turning to mobile apps because we're in a fast-paced, ever increasingly fast-paced environment where you want information at your fingertips.
Aren't we ever?
Yes.
I appreciate that. So basically you've gone, as the saying goes, you go where the puck is. So you've been able to provide the public with information how and to make it easy for them to access it, so that wherever they are, however they want to, they can receive it and then churn that out and make good decisions.
Absolutely. Our consumer app, which is called Ready Set Home, can be downloaded onto any Android, Apple, or BlackBerry mobile device. And it's a free app. And of course, CMHC's objective there is, again, to help consumers make responsible and informed decisions around home buying.
Well, that's good to know. What's it called again?
It's called Ready Set Home.
So we need to go into either an iTunes, Apple, or any other platform and go Ready, Set, Home. That's it.
Or you could simply go onto CMHC's website, cmhc.ca/mobile.
Okay, and that'll get that for you as well.
Yes.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So now, going back to our conversation, we talked about another part of home buying, and that is, we know that we want to buy. We know that they're looking into the side. You've been studying all of these trends to make sure. But what about, are you financially ready? Just tell the public some of the things that they would know if they haven't got the time to go on. Is what does it mean to be financially ready to buy a home?
Yeah. So after one has decided that home ownership is right for them, the next step is to definitely decide whether you're financially prepared to make a purchase.
Okay.
CMHC has 5 different calculators that home buyers can use on our site, and you would just click in calculator and it'll come up on our site to help you make a very informed decision. So we have everything from a premium calculator, a budgeting calculator, a mortgage payment calculator.
Yes.
It's important to know what the lenders will be looking for, and essentially they will be looking at your the affordability factor, your ability to repay. And they do this by looking at your gross debt servicing as well as your total debt servicing. So it's important for a consumer to do that for themselves and understand what are their housing costs and what are all of their total debt obligations, to understand what kind of a home they can afford.
Yes, yes. So, so basically you're helping an individual family not to get into trouble, not to over leverage, to play it safe, and thereby everybody wins. Is that correct?
Absolutely. You have to make an informed decision, and sometimes by going through the process of looking at your financial situation, you might decide that homeownership is not right for me today. But there are steps that you can take to prepare yourself. Paying down debt, building up a credit history if you don't have a credit history, saving up more of a down payment, or maybe lowering the house price that you've been looking for. Because
that's an option.
Absolutely. The first home you buy isn't necessarily your dream home. It's your first home. And sometimes you have to make some compromises to ensure that you're still financially healthy.
So what I hear you saying is that rather than waiting for that dream home, the affordability, or to show up, get into the market. Get your feet wet, start with what you can afford, and build your way up, right?
As long as you've determined that the benefits of home buying outweigh those of renting or whatever your other housing situation is at that time, like living with parents. The outcome is going to be different for everyone, but we do have to assess whether or not we're ready to make that step. As you know, Jay, there's a vast difference between renting and buying a home.
Of course.
Buying a home is not only a huge financial investment, but it's a big emotional investment as well. And you have to be ready to maintain that property, be ready to devote the time that it takes to care to that for that property. So there's much more than just living in the home. And
paying the mortgage.
Absolutely.
So again, for our viewers, because you've done this trends on study, I mean, everybody wants to buy a home, but can you give them 3 points as to the 3 main benefits of home ownership, 3 or more?
Well, first of all, I can certainly say it's the pride of ownership.
Okay.
You're living in a home. It's your home. You're investing into your future, so the pride of ownership.
I can attest to that, yes.
The second is investing into yourself and building up equity within your home.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What does that mean in dollar figures or to a family that's coming new into Canada?
Sure. So with every mortgage payment that you make, that mortgage payment is broken out into your principal and your interest.
Sure.
Every time you pay down some principal, you're knocking down the balance of your mortgage and you're building up equity in your home. And as markets perform well, housing prices will continue to rise steadily over time. At least we hope that they will. And you're building up equity within that home.
Yes.
So down the road, your children need to go to university.
Yes.
You can dip into that equity and provide that, hope of education for your children. You need to make energy efficient renovations to your home. Well, you can dip into your home equity and make those renovations.
Give our viewers an example of what's an energy efficient renovation that they can do.
Sure. So energy efficient renovations can be anything that reduces the burden of energy costs within the home, whether it's replacing windows with energy efficient windows, replacing your lighting with energy efficient lighting, increasing your insulation, sealing up the property, adding energy efficient appliances or mechanicals to the home. And by the way, Jay, I wanted to mention that if one of your consumers is going to be buying an energy efficient home, then they can benefit from a 10% refund off of CMHC's premiums, and they can find more information about that on our website.
That's interesting. I don't think everybody, very many people know about that. So if they were to get, now to find that, how would one qualify to CMHC that this is an energy efficient home and I'm going to get my 10%? That's a lot of money. How do you go about that? Tell me.
There's criteria on our website. So if they are purchasing a property, it would either have to be certified by one of the approved certifications noted.
That's required.
CMHC's webpage. So let's say LEED certified, R2000, Energy Star certified, or the home has undergone an energy audit by an authorized energy auditor. And the home will have to rate within a specific number on that scale. Mm-hmm. Up until March 2010, if a home rated 77 on the EnerGuide scale, the consumer could benefit from this energy efficient savings.
And how do you find these auditors and who pays them?
So auditors can be found on Natural Resource Canada's website.
Natural Resource Canada website.
Yeah, so it's NRCan.
NRCan.
NRCan, yes.
NRCan.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
So you can find an authorized energy auditor on there, and the cost is usually borne by the consumer. The consumer.
So that brings up the point, before we come to a close, the importance of the mobile apps and all of this information. One can not only learn and be efficient, one can save money by being informed through what CMHC is doing.
Absolutely, and not only saving money as we're getting into homeownership and arranging a mortgage, but also helping you after you become a homeowner. CMHC has a wealth of resources to help you maintain your home.
Okay.
And we invite consumers to sign up for our newsletter, which is At Home with CMHC, where we share lots of great advice and maintenance tips for new homeowners.
Awesome. Listen, that's all good news. Thank you for coming today. We appreciate what you're doing and what CMHC is doing as a body for us as consumers.
Thank you. It was my pleasure, Jay.
That's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. My team and I work very hard to bring you wonderful guests and good information that we think is good for you. So if this is the kind of show that you want to see, let us know about it. And until next time, same place, have a wonderful week. This is Molly signing off. See you again. Bye-bye.